Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. Today is Tuesday, May 20th, yes, and this is episode 27, which I've titled Random Prize Drawing, which you'll see in a minute. I'm sitting outside, because it's really nice, and we're supposed to get a big thunderstorm in like an hour, so I'm gonna hopefully make this quick enough that I won't get rained on out here in the little courtyard. I probably look ridiculous and I don't really care. I carried out my little chair, and I've got my little table, and I've got my pile of knitting over here, so hopefully this works. Alright, well, let's get started with Blow the Conch Shell. We have the May knit along going along with the flower theme, so any pattern or yarn colorway name or base that has the name flower or a flower like tulip or blossom or hibiscus or whatever. There's lots of little purple flowers in the lawn here, which is kind of fun. I don't know what they're called, but there's daffodils along the sides. They're not quite all blooming yet, but they're there. It's a funny thing like that. I confess I have not cast my socks on yet, but I did wind the yarn for it. So I'm doing the Tulip Socks by Cookie A, and I finally wound. I had a yarn winding party last night. Getting a little bit of delay in the camera. I'm hoping that it's not gonna cause problems. Anyway, this is the yarn. It is by another crafty girl, and it is the Lost Souls, and it's her strong sock. So it's 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon, and it's 400 yards. That's about the color. It's a little greener than it's coming up on the camera. That's it. And like I always do, I have my 2 balls ready to go. So hopefully those will get cast on this weekend. That's my plan. And the other conch shell announcement is we reached 75 members in the Ravelry group. Kind of snuck up on me. I probably should have done this drawing last time, but I forgot. So we're going to do a random prize drawing. I didn't warn anybody, but I'd been thinking about it. So we reached 75 members, so I'm going to do a random prize drawing for a pattern of $5 or less, your choice on Ravelry. So let's open up the random thing, and what do we got? 76. Yeah, because I'm one of them, so enter 39, and number 39 is Dollface, who is Lisa. So Dollface, if you could please contact me via Ravelry, just send me a PM with what pattern you would like, $5 or less, I will gift that to you, and thanks for being part of the group. So I just thought that was kind of random and fun, and yeah, enjoy doing random fun things, right? Alright, on the island, I've not cast on anything new, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, but I have been working on my sweater and my husband's socks, which have not been touched for a very long time, because I finished a couple things that I started that, like, they're small things. Anyway, so we'll get starting with On the Island. I have the Flying Dutchmen socks out of the Loopy Seasonings series in Icicles, and here they are. So as you can see, I've started the wave pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I finished the wave pattern. What is going on? There are bugs on my computer. Alright. Hazard of recording outside. There are bugs. So I've got the wave pattern here. Ta-da! Oh, it's actually kind of focusing on them. That's really nice. Thank you, camera. And next I get to start the ship pattern. And of course these are written top down and I'm doing them toe up, as seems to be the case more often than not. So I put them aside for a minute until I could concentrate on that. So those have gotten some attention. And the other thing is I finally pulled out my sweater again. So I've been working on the Chimera cardigan by Amy Herzog. And you guys have seen bits and pieces of it already. I'm trying to pull out pieces of it. It's knit in pieces, flat and then seamed. So this is the back, which you've seen before. It is washed and blocked. I wanted to make sure that it was set okay before I continued, and it does fit, so that's good. And this week I finished the left front, which obviously has not been washed and blocked. Oh, that's the back. This is the front. So you see it's the same cable pattern. But that's it. So this is the left front. It's the neck. So it goes over here like this. So, ta-da! And I had some minor freakouts. First of all, I did the shoulder, or the arm shaping, and then it said, oh, do the neck shaping. For some reason I thought I should do the neck shaping on the same side. Sorry, there's a UPS truck. On the same side as the shoulder or the arm, and then I was like, Lucia, that's really dumb. Of course, it's a scoop neck. You don't put the scoop neck on the outside. Duh. I haven't knit a whole lot of sweaters, can you tell? So I had to rip that part back and do it again, but I got it right this time. And I started the right front, which has not started curling terribly yet, so you can see that. And I've got my Doctor Who stitch markers. There's 10 and 11, so they've got numbers on the back, and then they've also got the doctors on the front. Maybe it'll focus on them. Maybe. Anyway, it's David Tennant and Matt Smith. I have the whole set, 1 through 11, but that's the ones I pulled out. So, ta-da! So I've been working on that. Hopefully I will get that finished up in the next couple days, and then I don't know if I'm going to seam it and then pick up and knit the sleeves. I feel like I'd do a lot better with that than trying to seam the sleeves in. So I may do that. We'll see. So that's it for On the Island. I do have some things that set sail, which is kind of exciting. I think it was on another podcast, I'm not sure, but someone was knitting these like little Skimmer socks is what they're called. They're by Sheila Stromberg, and I knit, so these little like no-show socks basically. And sorry, I have a white and gray cat, as you know, and I have black socks, which pretty much means there's cat hair on them, so you can tell this side looks a little better maybe. Anyway, so I decided that now that it's kind of spring and summer's coming up really quickly, I wear a lot more flats, and so I needed some socks for those because my feet get sweaty in my shoes, and I have one new pair of flats where the sole kind of like scrunches up on itself when it gets wet, which is really uncomfortable. So I knit a pair of these to go with those, and I wore them this weekend and they were fabulous. And then I finally washed and blocked them. I wore them unblocked. So I'm like, they're socks, they kind of block on your feet. But I did make a few modifications. I realized on these I knit the toe a little longer than I probably should have, so they come up a little farther on my feet than I would like. And then I did a short row heel and some short rows in the ribbing. So basically you knit the toe and then you put the top, it's a free pattern so I'm not giving anything away, But you knit the toe just like you normally would on a toe-up sock. And then you put the top stitches on a holder, or I put them on a second needle. And then you knit the bottom flat, and then it tells you to cast on a certain number of stitches and then knit like you would an afterthought heel. I decided to just do a short row heel because it's what I like to do. So I did a short row heel, and then you have those, and then you pick up stitches along the side, and then you knit here, and then pick up stitches along the other side, and then you do some ribbing. So the ribbing goes up along the side. And then I did some short rows within the ribbing for the heel to make sure that it came up above my shoe. And so that was the first pair, and I whipped those out in like 2 days. And then I decided, and it's great because I just used some leftovers that I had. This is the second pair that I knit, which was out of Leading Men Fiber Arts in the Showstopper in London Fog. And these I knit probably in about 24 hours. They were really fast. I also had a lot of meetings at work, which means I can get a lot of knitting done at work, which is great for me. Anyway, and I made some changes on these. I knit the toe shorter, and then I did the same short row heel, but I did some gusset increases. So you can see I did my like bottom heel gusset. And someone was asking me about how I do the bottom of the heel gusset. And basically what happens is I get to the point in my foot where I'm not quite, maybe like an inch before I want to turn my heel. So probably like 2.5 inches before, the end of your heel. And I just count kind of till the middle of the stitches. So basically if there's 30, 15, after 15 would be the middle. So maybe I knit like 14 and do an increase, and then knit 2, do an increase. And then the next time around I'll knit like 13, do an increase, so that the increases kind of go out. I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know and I'll explain it better. But that's how I do that. So it kind of makes a little V there. The camera will ever focus. Anyway, so I knit some gusset stitches, which then made for a longer heel. And I also did some gusset stitches on the side here, which I ended up, decreasing like a normal gusset. And that, I think I created more gusset stitches than I needed, so I learned a lot, and I think my third pair will be the perfect pair. These still work. I think I was so worried about the toe being too long that I knit a really short toe. I mean, I did all the increases, then I basically stopped, put it on a holder, knit the whole bottom flat, turn the heel, and then picked up, and I ended up doing some short rows along the front, which you can kind of see got decreased there. It'll ever focus. Oh, camera. Anyway, they're right there. And I think I got so worried that I went too far in the other direction, and then I had to make up for it, and then it wasn't. They're fine. The shoes that I plan on wearing them with, it'll be fine. So those were my finished objects. I discovered to block them, I put them on the sock blockers, and then I got like clothespins and pinned the heel up, because otherwise they just fell off. It was ridiculous. So I got clothespins, and that seemed to work quite well. So if you end up making some of these and want to block them, that's how I did it. So those are the only thing that set sail. I don't have anything for flora and fauna this week, I don't think. Let's see, what are we at? Oh, we're at 15 minutes. But I did have some other things to share. Coming up in the end of June, I'm going to be traveling to Europe, to Prague in particular, because that's where my grandparents live. My dad grew up there, and he moved to the U.S. a long time ago. I'm not doing the math. Anyway, but a lot of his family still lives in Prague, and so we go back every so often. And this year I get to go, which is really exciting. I haven't been in a few years. Last year my brother got to go, so we kind of switch off. And this year I get to take my husband with me, which is really exciting, because they didn't actually get to meet him, because it's a really long trip, and they're getting up there in age. So They didn't get to come out for the wedding, so they get to meet him, which is really exciting. And also it turns out he has family near there, so we might get to see them as well. So look for Instagram pictures of Prague. I love Prague. It is one of my favorite cities ever. If I could live there, I would. Basically, if I could find a job there, I would move there tomorrow, but I can't. So it is what it is. I don't really speak Czech, so that's kind of the problem. But it means I need to figure out what knitting I'm taking with me. So I raided my stash last night, and my plan is to take a bunch of sock yarn. And just take, one, maybe two pairs of, or I guess sock needles, not really, I guess pairs of sock needles. Anyway, and just continually knit socks. As soon as I finish one, I can cast on another one. And that'll kind of be my travel knitting, their knitting, whatever knitting. So I had to wind up a bunch of sock yarn last night, which is why I wound the Tulip Socks. So if they don't actually get cast on before the end of May, then I will definitely take them on the trip. But the other thing I knit up, or I wound up, was kind of half wound. I don't know if you guys remember, I had these socks called the Treebeard socks that I was knitting on for a while, and then had problems with them and ended up ripping them out, and so I rewound the cape into my 2 balls. So I'm going to take those. Those are for my husband. I'll just put these lightly on the computer. Take this. I wound these. And I wound this. I think I had wound. This is some. Sorry, I forgot to say, is Highland Handmaids in the Zui colorway, I believe. Anyway, I love it. I think it's mountain maple sock. I don't know what it is, but I love her yarn. Anyway, and then I have some knit picks in Stroll and like the Pearl Essence colorway or something. It's just kind of a tonal neutral thing. At one point I thought about knitting the Rivendell socks out of it, so I think that's going to come with me. And the other thing that I wound up was some 3 Irish Girls Adorn sock that I got at Vogue Knitting Live in Chicago. And this skein is gigantic. It's 430 yards, which I thought it's not terrible for a sock skein, but anyway, it's gigantic. So I didn't really want to knit socks out of it. So I was thinking maybe a gigantic shawl, but my husband's like, why don't you knit a sweater? Is it enough for a sweater? I said, well, not quite fingering weight sweater, but if I mix it with like a gray, because there's some gray in it, you'll be able to see more like on the side. There's some gray. Or like a cream or something. It's getting dark, isn't it? You should probably go inside. Anyway, so I wound that up. And I wound a couple other things. Excuse me. But I just wanted to show this because it was gigantically and squishy, and so I think that's going to become a sweater. Oh, that's someone's window. Okay, I thought that was thunder. That's not good. Oh, I got something from the mainland. I totally forgot. I had custom ordered. Oh, people are shutting their windows for the rain. I had custom ordered a skein of yarn for a friend of mine who ordered a shawl. She wanted a gradient shawl, and she loves red and purple. So I went on Knit Circus and found this, which is their plum colorway. Plum something. Let me take it out of the bag. And because the information about what kind of yarn it is on the card, which is inside the bag. It is Cranberry Plum. Knit Circus Thrilling, which is merino and Tessa silk. 440 yards, which is also a large skein. Very generous. And it is beautiful. It's a lot more pink than it's coming out. There's actually Focus. Anyway, she's gonna love this. I love these colors, so that's gonna be fun. And so that came in the mail yesterday. So that's why it's not on my show notes. I had every intention of recording yesterday, and then I got home and I got distracted, and then I took a shower, and I was like, well, I don't really want to record in my PJs, so I was like, I'll do it tomorrow, first thing when I get home, so I don't forget. And they also sent me this little mini skein of Cabaret in the sateen colorway, which is Polworth and silk. I've never actually worked with Polworth, so I'm really excited. I know a lot of people spin with Polworth, but I'm not a spinner, as you can probably tell, so I've never actually felt Polworth, and I actually like it, especially with the silk. It is a little bit more rustic than a merino, but it's still not super rustic. Like, I could still imagine having this next to my skin, so I'm really excited to try that. I don't know what I'm going to make, but we'll see. I think that's it. Oh, no, this weekend, I'm going to be part of a choral festival, so you may see pictures on Instagram of that as well. And it's an annual thing that the choir I'm in, I sing at the Baha'i House of Worship in Wilmette, and every year they host a choral festival, and people from all over the world actually fly in, and we rehearse Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we perform on Sunday. So if you happen to be in the Chicago, Wilmette area, there's a performance at 9:30 and 12:30 on Sunday, this Sunday, May 25th. You should definitely check it out. It's all sacred music, it's a 200-person choir, and it's all a cappella. So, it's pretty fantastic, but it's a lot of singing over the weekend. But it also means a lot of knitting time for me, so I had to plan for that too, which is another reason why I wound a bunch of yarn. So my plan is to work on my sweater, because I'd really like to take that with me to Prague. I'd really like it to be done. So that's my plan, and when I finish that, I will probably knit on my Tulip Socks. So that's what I will be doing this weekend. I'm really excited. My mother-in-law is coming into town tomorrow night, which I'm really excited about. We had to spend a lot of time working on our apartment, so she would have a place to sleep, which is good. So my apartment's kind of a mess. We have to do the rest of the cleaning. We're down to the last few boxes to be unpacked, which is really exciting. But it also means that there's, random boxes everywhere in the apartment. So I was like, I'm just going to go record outside and not deal with this for a little bit. So I'm going to go back inside and help my husband, finish up those boxes and eat some dinner and get ready for Mom to come. So we're really excited to have her here for the Choral Festival. Anyway, and I better get out of here before it starts raining, and I won't blab too much. So enjoy your week. Happy knitting, and I will see you all soon. Bye!